Police have finally charged a man in connection to the murder of Tupac Shakur in 1996. I think he was only 25 years old, and what he was able to achieve in that time, none of us can compare. It felt like there was a cover-up and that we would never find out the truth because so many people were involved in this. They blame P. Diddy, they blame Suge Knight. Suge Knight was in the car, and even he was suspected in setting up the shooting because Tupac was good.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus, and let's talk about it. You guys know, what it is with me, man. I mean, you see him right there, Tupac, right? My biggest influence in hip-hop, being a rapper, was Wu-Tang Clan. You know, I love Wu-Tang Clan, Boot Camp Click. I love a lot of the classics, but Tupac is up there with them. Tupac, Biggie, Bone Thugs, NWA. I mean, come on. Let's get real. But Tupac had some of the most impact on me with the way he would, there was an emotion in his voice. His voice, it was like he was singing, but he was rapping. It was very hard to put a finger on the pulse with, I don't know, something about Tupac's energy. It resonated deeper than almost any artist. Like, you know, I really, like, even Biggie's first album, it was heavy, kind of dark, and I was like, I felt an emotion listening to it, but Pac, man, and I'll never forget the first time I heard Dear Mama. Oh, man, how many, oh, man, keep your head up, Changes. There's certain joints where it's just, like, spoke to your soul and fed your soul. Anyways, we're going to get into this. Now, there's a bunch of videos on the interwebs, but I started watching this one, and it seemed really put together well. So I wanted to just go over this, and it's titled 2PAC's Killer Has Been Arrested, and P. Diddy is Next. Now, that title spoke volumes to me, and I don't know if you guys are following this whole thing, which is incredibly crazy that it took this long to figure out a bunch of things. Anyways, let's just get into it, and we're going to have a conversation here. Again, this would be commentary. We'll get into it. Like, share, comment on all the content. If you rock with the vibe, subscribe to the channel. Here we go.
40-year-old boys are back in town. 40. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. Malt liquor for your ears. 40.
All right, you guys, let me get this logo down and pull the video up. Before we do that, don't forget to support the original content on the channel. I'm a hip-hop artist, so I have music videos, but also we do interviews, and we've just, depending on when you've seen this, we had an in-studio guest, a legend of hip-hop, freestyle hip-hop, the father of freestyle, MC Supernatural, and he was in here. It's crazy because he's talking about when he met Biggie, how he met Biggie, talking to Big Daddy Kane, his battle with Proof. Yeah, Eminem's best friend. I mean, he addresses a bunch of the things that people ask, and he kicked freestyles at the beginning and the middle and the end of the interview. It's crazy. I would love for you guys to check out that original piece of content and support that. And it allows us to produce more original content. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I am reacting to someone else's content. So let's take some time. Now, this is on the channel True Geordie. I believe that's how you say it. Now, typically, I'd be like Geordie or something, but True Geordie. So make sure you go there, if you want to sub to his content. But this is where I'm getting the content from, and I will definitely make sure to put the video in there. Now, I'm not really familiar with True Geordie like that, if I'm keeping it a buck. The first time I heard his name, I think him and Andrew Tate had some type of beef, but that's all I really knew. I didn't follow up. So this is cool because he's like killing it. He's slaying it on the internet. I mean, this dude has almost 2 million subs, which is kind of wild. But again, I saw a piece of this, and that's what made me want it because this was put together really well. So let's talk about it. I know this is going to open up some dialogue about the one, the only, the legendary, the icon, Tupac. You know, when you see a face like Tupac's, right, there's these icons, right? You know, you have your Tupac, Biggie, Bob Marley, Johnny Cash, Elvis, John Lennon. You know what I'm talking about, those T-shirts where you see people in Africa and Europe and in Japan wearing these iconic figures. Tupac's an icon. Let's go. Let's see what this is about.
In 1990.
Let's just bring it back.
Police have finally charged a man in connection to the murder of Tupac Shakur in 1996. I think he was only 25 years old, and what he was able to achieve in that time, none of us can compare. It felt like there was a cover-up and that we would never find out the truth because so many people were involved in this. They blame P. Diddy. They blame Suge Knight. Suge Knight was in the car, and even he was suspected in setting up the shooting because Tupac was going to leave his record label. And there was all that beef with the Notorious B.I.G. Even the police were suspects in this because a lot of police officers were working when they were off duty for these crime gangs like Death Row, the record label that Suge Knight was head of, who Tupac worked on, and P. Diddy as well. He had cops on the payroll. So nobody was trustable in this scenario. People gave up hope a long time ago that we would ever get the answers. Tupac's mother was campaigning for decades to find out who did this to her son, and she has since died. There is no justice for anyone, really. It's too little too late, but at least we have an answer now. Now, let me take you back in time to the night.
Dude, that intro, I think you'd call that a monologue. This is why I'm reacting to this and not like breaking it down via Google myself. One, he's killing it with the production. He's so dead on. He did his history. And I mean, I'm actually kind of getting goosebumps because I'm from this era. Like, I was in high school when Machiavelli dropped, and then you found out Tupac passed away. I remember when Machiavelli came out. Because it came out, we thought he was still alive. You got to remember, there was, like, internet is not, I don't even know if it was a thing like, it wasn't a thing like that back then. There's still payphones. I had a beeper. Like, it was, anyways, I'm getting goosebumps thinking and going back in my mind when, I remember the day I found out Biggie passed and Tupac, and I was like very upset, almost went to tears. You were so emotionally invested in these brothers, and then it was rivals. It's like this East versus West thing. Man, this is wild.
Of the murder, September 7th, 1996. This was the night of the Mike Tyson fight against Selden in Las Vegas. Tyson and Tupac were very good friends. Tupac had referenced Tyson in a lot of his songs. And
I was 16 years old when 1996, I was 16 years old.
This was the night of the Mike Tyson fight against Selden in Las Vegas. Tyson and Tupac were very good friends. Tupac had referenced Tyson in a lot of his songs. And as always, Tupac, when he rolled up to these places, he was deep. He had all of his guys with him, and it was a problem for anyone who they recognized. Unfortunately, for a guy called Orlando Anderson, who was a Crip, a rival gang to the Bloods that Tupac had with him, they spotted him in the lobby of the hotel where the fight was taking place. So you'll see the CCTV footage here in the hotel lobby. Tupac had already attacked Orlando Anderson. They'd had a previous beef, and you can see the guy in the white here, that's Suge Knight, who is putting a beat down on this guy as well. They're kicking him, and as far as they're concerned, it's point proven. Tupac is seen walking out of the hotel here, strutting as if he owns the place. Now, as far as we're aware, Tupac and Suge then make the decision to go to a nightclub called the 662, which is the digits on your phone for MOB. It's mob-owned mafia type shit where they've owned this nightclub, and this is where they hang out. And this is the final photograph ever taken of Tupac and Suge.
I know you guys have seen this photo before. It's just, I can't believe I'm 43 years old and we're still talking about this, and just, it's not over. They're still trying to connect some stuff to Diddy, it sounds like right now, which is wild. It's not surprising, but
Suge at the driver's side, Tupac on the passenger side. Now, obviously, what was known at that moment was Tupac pulled up at some traffic lights on the Las Vegas Strip, and another car, which was a white Cadillac, pulled up alongside and emptied the clip into the car. Tupac was hit, killed. He did survive for about 6 days. I think it was 6 or 7 days after the initial shot went in, but he wasn't conscious. He'd been hit through the lungs, which had filled up with blood, and he was never going to be the same again after that, which people didn't really accept because he'd also been shot like a year before this and survived that. So Tupac was like immortal and indestructible. So for him to actually be shot again, people kind of were just like, he'll pull through. Because he didn't die immediately, People just believed he'd pull through. Orlando Anderson was obviously the main suspect, being that he was the guy who got jumped by these guys.
It's true. I remember when we heard he got shot, but they were like, "Oh, he's in the hospital," and this is where all these stories and conspiracies, like, "Yo, he's on an island in Jamaica or Argentina." I forget the stories, and it's like the Elvis thing. Like, Elvis is still alive. It's like you love someone so much you're not willing to let it go or let them go. And, sometimes I even wondered. I was like, I always made this joke on the channel that Tupac was the creator of Bitcoin, because the creator of Bitcoin, they don't know who it is, right? And I was like, yo, wouldn't that be epic if it was like Tupac created Bitcoin? But it's just a joke. But yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. And then the lack of technology, we only got information a certain way. Now you can get information in so many ways because of phones and internet. So it's very unique to come from that time and be in this period of time as well. Like I couldn't imagine being like a 70-year-old person or a 90-year-old, because like the technology leap is so incredible and crazy. And the leap from now until because I have a 5-year-old daughter, when she's like 19, I can't even imagine.
However, he was killed not long after this, and as were a lot of people, as you can imagine, because in these wars, that's the way it was. But one guy who was in the car didn't get killed. And unfortunately for him, he's decided to do YouTube interviews about 20-odd years later and has basically incriminated himself. Introducing Keffe D.
Death Row guys were going to have a concert at the 662 Club. So we went to the 662 Club. Tupac and Shook, they didn't ever show up. So we left.
So Orlando and his guys were actually waiting at this 662 club, waiting for Suge Knight and Tupac. They didn't show up, so these guys went out looking for them.
All the chicks was like, Tupac. And he was like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. He wouldn't even been out the window. We would have never seen him. My partner busted you. When we pulled up, I was in the front seat.
You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the back seat, bro.
So he's claiming...
First and foremost, I seen Keffe D on Vlad TV. And that's where I was like, bro, did he just say what I think he said? And then Vlad went and interviewed one of the police that were investigating the whole thing as well. And it's just crazy. He's like, I'm going to keep the code of the streets and just say it came from the back seat. The code of the streets is you shouldn't even be doing an interview. What the are you talking about? The code of the streets. Now, to be totally clear, I'm glad he didn't keep the code of the streets. In my opinion, F that. We need to find who took out a legend, period. So it is what it is, but the code of the streets. Anyways, I got to watch how I talk because I am not in these streets and I am not trying to get my bus because I talk out of turn. So all respect to the streets, and I love Pac, man. Who didn't love Pac though, man? Damn, Gina. Craziness, crazy.
Oh, it came from the back seat. I was in the passenger seat. I mean, you would, wouldn't you? Because what he's trying to do here is get all the clout for being involved and allude to the fact that it was me, but yeah, it came from the back seat. And those guys just so happen to be dead. A likely story. And the fact is, he's been doing interviews about this for years now. It kind of goes back to what Chris Rock once said about if you ever want to get away with a murder, just put a demo tape in the pocket of whoever you kill, because police don't care about rapper deaths. These are interviews from years ago. Keffe D, I feel remorse for Tupac, but attacking Orlando gave us the green light. This is 4 years ago. How it took this long is insane. So this is the mugshot of Keffe D, aka Dwayne Davis, and he's taken into custody by Las Vegas detectives. He's 60 years old, and the brother of Tupac, Mo Preem, who is his stepbrother, has actually slammed detectives and said, we've been through decades of pain. They've known about this guy. He's been running his mouth for years, so why now? That is the interesting thing. They've clearly known about this guy for a long time. What has changed? Is someone not paying up to the cops who were keeping him, safe? Maybe. There's no way that they've just randomly thought, we'll get him now. This was 4 years ago he was given these interviews. So Chief Deputy District Attorney Mark Di Giacomo has described Davis as an on-ground, on-site commander who ordered the death of Shakur. So while he may not have been the one to pull the trigger because he was in the front, as he said, it came from the back, he's probably handed them the gun, and I think there's even footage of him saying that. So now, whether or not he pulled the trigger, he was in command, and they are going to charge him as if he ordered the death.
For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice.
This guy is bragging as if we finally cracked it. Mate, the guy was doing YouTube interviews 4 years ago, basically telling you, leading every breadcrumb there, yeah, it was me.
To announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, a.k.a. Keffe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur. While I know there's been many people who did not believe that the murder of Tupac Shakur was important to this police department, I'm here to tell you that was simply not the case.
You can't give it, I told you so, and it took you 27 years, mate. It's still sorry it took this long, but at least we got the guy. You don't get to gloat now. This man's doing a victory lap. Who's laughing now, huh? Still the criminal. He spent the majority of his life as a free man. He was just about to collect his old age pensioner bus pass, and now you're locking him up. His life's basically over anyway.
Our goal at LVMPD has always been to hold those accountable and responsible for Tupac's violent murder accountable, just like we do for every homicide victim in our city.
He's just really using this as an opportunity to do a bit of good PR. So let's go back to the cop now who found Tupac at the scene of the crime and actually held Tupac as he took some of his last conscious breaths. Check this out. This man doesn't live far from Keffe D. They lived like a couple of streets away from each other. And
I didn't know this part. I don't know about this cop. I know about a detective. He has like blonde hair. I think I seen him on Vlad doing interviews about like really trying to crack this case, and he dropped a lot of gems. This person, I don't think I've seen this person before. This is crazy. This is crazy.
This is the guy who was investigating the case. They always say it's the one closest to you.
Most everybody who is involved in this whole incident is dead at this point. So I think you run your mouth, you talk yourself into a search warrant. Maybe you've even talked yourself into a murder charge. We don't know that yet.
We do now because he has been charged with murder, and they have found bullets in the house. Bullets that potentially could link him to the murder. It's unlikely after 27 years that they'd be the same bullets, but apparently they potentially are from a similar gun, and they're going to obviously run those checks. The reason this gets even more interesting now is because of who Keffe D is linked to. There was always speculation that
who keeps a murder gun? Who keeps a murder weapon? For how many years? This is getting crazy. And I'll keep it real, like, go, if you're into this type of thing, go look at some of the Keffe D interviews. What he's saying is absolutely the facts. I've seen them. I saw all of the Vlad ones, I believe. And that's when I was like, what? So they caught him? 4 years ago, I was like, well, we know who did it. That's what I was saying. I was like, yep, well, we know who did it. This dude just is on here saying all this craziness. So when I saw this today, I was like, well, we done known who did it. I thought they got like a pass, like diplomatic immunity, because I was like, I saw on DJ Vlad, I was like, how are you allowed to say this, bro? This is wild. This is wild stuff.
Diddy was the one who was ordering the hit on Tupac because they'd had long-standing beef. Tupac was talking mad shit about him, and also P. Diddy publicly had put a warrant out for a death row chain that they all used to wear. He put money out saying, if you bring me one of those, I'm going to give you whatever it was. And you don't get chains like that but peacefully, yeah? Like, so he'd already made threats in that way. And the problem for P. Diddy is Keffe D has publicly spoken about looking after P. Diddy.
So I want to backtrack. You said that you was on top of the world until you met Puffy. What you mean by that?
Man, shit, I was getting 300 kilos a month, man. Balling, man. Brother Love, come show some love. That's all I can fucking say. Show some love, Brother Love. Shit. Brother, I be seeing you doing your little pretty dance and all that, man. Show some love, homie. Come on, man. Don't be like that, Brother Love. I was on top of the world till I met your motherfucking ass, dude. Shit is wrong, dude. Come on, homie. I need something. Throw a dog a bone or something. Fuck.
To CONVO.
For you guys not familiar with the lingo there, because I know some of the normies on the channel might not be into this, but that was Puff Daddy's alias. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Brother Love. So there you have it.
That in English, what he's saying is I got involved with P. Diddy. P. Diddy went to the moon, killed it, made all of his millions, and now I'm sitting here. Where's my love? Where's my handout? I'm the one struggling now, and I looked after you. Apparently, Keffe D has detailed the motive for the shooting was a retaliation and to collect a $1 million bounty he claimed Sean Puffy Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, offered to him and his gang to kill Tupac and Suge Knight. P. Diddy has yet to be arrested, but refuses to address the allegations in public interviews. Now that this guy has been arrested, P. Diddy must be shitting himself. Given the nature of the hit record Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, where he went at both P. Diddy and the Notorious B.I.G., given the fact that Tupac already blamed this first shooting that he survived on P. Diddy and B.I.G., who else had the motive to do this? People suggested Suge Knight was behind it because Tupac was wanting to leave the record label. He wanted him better dead than alive somewhere else. But Suge was in the car. He got a bullet grazed off of his head. Like, are you really going to put yourself in that situation? This makes a lot more sense, given that there is an established link between P. Diddy and Keffe D. If you're P. Diddy now and you've had decades of success after this all went down, to now end up in prison would be horrendous for him.
Yo, P. Diddy is a billionaire. He's a billionaire, one of the rare black billionaires in America. This is craziness, but I couldn't put it beyond anybody anymore, because after 2020, I learned that anything's possible. You know, what I would think is like just on some like mob movie type stuff. If you're a billionaire, why would you allow? Now, hear me out. I've got to dance around the algorithm on YouTube, but why would you allow someone like Keffe D to be doing all these interviews and saying these things? Because money talks, and people, I mean, if you pulled the strings back then, why wouldn't you just pull the strings now to, you know, there's a reason behind all these things. So, you know, maybe Keffe D is just the fall guy, right? Maybe he's just going to be the fall guy for a bigger plot. I don't know. I don't know, man. I let people have their day in court. I'm not going to assume anything, just like I didn't assume with Johnny Depp. I didn't assume with Rammstein. I didn't assume with Andrew Tate. I don't assume until the evidence has been provided and, you know, boom, baye. That's just what it is. But this is, I mean, a lot of fingers seem to be pointing in a certain direction. I love Tupac, so, you know, I could be a little biased. So I got to take a little step back, take a breather. But this video's a couple weeks old, I think. So by the time you watch this, there might be more things out on this, because this is 11 days old, and these things move kind of fast. So actually, hold on. Someone else posted. Snoop Dogg arrested and testifies against Diddy in, I don't know if this is legit. And I'm not going to click on it. But, I mean, look, there's more stories already coming out. This is 3 days old. Snoop Dogg arrested and testifies against Diddy in. And if I clicked on it, I have a feeling because what we're watching, it's correlated to the Tupac stuff. So I watched some of this video, and I just saw it was put together so well. That's why I chose this one. But by the time you see this, there might be more things out. The jury might be out further than this. So tap in the comments on what you know or have heard since this video dropped. But this brother put this together really well. And I don't even know him like that. I'm just like, yo, I just saw, like, I watched, like, I think the first 5 minutes. I was like, this is fire. Let's have a convo. All right, here we go.
And you've had decades of success after this all went down, to now end up in prison would be horrendous for him. It's funny because Eminem even alluded to this like a year or two ago in a diss record to Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly is signed to P. Diddy, and Eminem must have been pissed off at the fact that P. Diddy had allowed Machine Gun Kelly to come at him and starts pointing fingers. Eminem says in the song Kill Shot, but this idiot's boss pops pills and tells him he's got skills, but Kells, the day you put out a hit is the day Diddy admits that he put out the hit that got popped killed. He literally said it. And if there's anyone who should know about this shit, it's a guy who's best mates with Dr. Dre and has been in rap at the highest level for the last 30 fucking years himself. But he does say at the end, I'm just playing Diddy. You know I love you. So that gives you that. All right, was he being serious? But yes, everything points to yes. P. Diddy killed Tupac. You heard it here first. I'm in London. They can't get me. And I remember like idolizing Tupac and loving his music when I was really young and wondering like, is he alive? And all of these bullshit, theories about him being in Jamaica or wherever the fuck, which does seem better than death. But all these years later, we finally find out that it was Orlando Anderson who pulled the trigger, Keffe D who gave him the gun and set it up, and P. Diddy who paid them. Done. Another case solved by Detective Geordie. You're welcome. Let me know what you think of all of this in the comments below, because pretty much everyone who was involved in this is either dead or in jail. Look at Suge Knight. He is in jail. He's a shadow of the man he was. So really, there is no more retribution to be had. It is just jail for Keffe D. But if they bring down P. Diddy, a billionaire, wow, that is mental. And he's recently been giving all of his publishing rights back to the artists that he basically held hostage for 2 decades. So he's feeling a bit charitable, weirdly, lately. I don't know why. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button. Stay subscribed to the True Geordie YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.
That was a really good breakdown. I don't know how the whole Orlando thing happened, right? And how he caught the beat down, but then it's like Puffy paid them to go get him, but he caught the beat down first. There's still things where I'm just like, It's interesting. I don't know what happened there. This dude paints a great story that could be absolutely true. I vibrate to what he's saying more so than anything else, but trying to keep an open mind and being like I wasn't there. I'm not, and that's the other thing too. Like, you got to remember back then, 1996, right? There was mad corruption in the police departments, and there's corruption in everything. Every business, every corporation, every nonprofit, there's some type of corruption in almost everything. So I'm not trying to be like, but there was a little bit more corruption in a lot more police departments in those times. I remember it just being, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's still corruption to this day, right? But it's seen, I don't know, that's why I'm always just like, yo, man, I remember the 90s were kind of, there was a lot of stuff going on, especially coming out of the crack epidemic or era of the 80s. So, I mean, the police have a hard job, so I never, just be like, yo, F all these it's just, it's kind of simple to me. It's like, yo, F these corrupt, people and people hiding corruption. But, yo, there's so much here. He has a really good take on this. What do you guys think? Man, it is really sad that this is coming out the way it is, and it took so long. But hey, thank God it's coming out, man. I hope they get some justice for Tupac. And I don't know. This actually makes me even think more in depth. It makes me want to go retrace some of the steps, because Orlando catching the beat down where he caught it is really interesting. That he caught the beat down, but then they're saying Puffy paid him, right? But then Orlando's rolling with Keffe D to go get Pac. It seems interesting. And the other thing, I have to take out the age of information. It wasn't like cell phones and all these things were moving as fast as they were in this moment in time. So it's just interesting how it all aligns. Like, it could have aligned this way, absolutely. But I remember growing up, I forget what song it is, but there's a song where if you listen close, it sounds like it says, Suge shot me. Everyone used to play it. I think it was on the Machiavelli album. But that's why so when he's saying people thought Suge did it, it's because there is a song. I forget which joint it is. I'm so far removed. But I remember it's just a whisper on one of Tupac's songs, and it sounds like it says, Suge shot me. But it's like this, Suge shot me. It's mad eerie, you guys. It's crazy. So, you get thrown these crumbs, and you're kind of like get led off the trail, and you're like, oh, but it would just make more sense for it to come from a rival, right? Like, I don't know, man. I ain't got all the answers, Sway. I ain't got all the answers, but it definitely, there's something going on here. So we'll see. We'll see you guys. If you watch this to the end, man, tap in with your boy. Let me know in the comments what's good, man. R.I.P. Tupac. Hopefully the people that did that to him get their day in court and justice. You know. Anyways, I'm out of here, you guys.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again.